365 Sports, powered by Sikkim365.com. Welcome to the Triple Option. Here's your host, Paul Catalina.
Welcome in, Paul Catalina, Garrett Ross, Emery Winter joins us. Can we get a third camera?
Yeah,
okay.
Hold on.
All right. I'm going to get part. Okay, there we go. So here are the three of us here. So Emery, your feed has been populated by this Barstool thing, and you felt the need to discuss it at length today with us. 100 men versus one gorilla. So I will let you start. Where do you and Garrett differ on this? Do you think the gorilla wins or do you think the men win?
I think the gorilla is just destroying the 100 men. And Garrett, on the other hand, thinks that through the right circumstances and game plan that the men can beat them.
Okay, so let's put this is not happening, obviously, in a zoo. This is happening in the wild.
Right.
Okay, so I'm dropping you into the Congo.
Yep.
You and 199 of your gorilla fighting army.
Exactly.
And are you allowed to use things that you can find? Because the gorilla can do that too, right?
Yeah. So
the gorilla can use tools. They can, can hit you with a stick or a rock or something.
Yeah. So Garrett and I were talking about this whenever I first brought it up. And we said, obviously, no guns or knives or anything like that. But we said the natural elements can be played because both have opposable thumbs.
Yep. Yes.
So people can be wielding, throwing, whatever. And I still think the gorilla just does it hands down. Just because I don't think a lot of people realize not only like what they would be facing if they were like, holy crap, this gorilla is pissed off looking at, although we do have 100 people that, oh my gosh, this gorilla is pissed off and he's about to kill us. Not only that, but also he can
climb the.
He can climb.
There's
His
all these things that he
probably
can,
like.
The skin's very tough.
A human is not like really penetrating that.
I've never like touched a gorilla before.
Me either, but I would imagine.
Well, no, one has never touched me either. So I don't know, but like I do know. I mean, because I did when I was a kid, I watched a lot. Now I'll tell you one I wouldn't do either. I would not do 100 men versus one chimpanzee.
Oh yeah, chimpanzees will screw you up.
Yeah,
they're I watched I used to think because when I was a kid, you would see chimpanzees and they'd be like wearing pants and like doing funny stuff. And then like 15 years ago, I saw this documentary on chimps in the wild, and I was like, "Holy no!"
Now you add a ton to that.
Yeah, I was like, okay, like I don't want to like. If I was ever in a place where like, hey, would you like to hold the trained chimp? Like, nope, don't trust him. Absolutely not. I would rather encounter a gorilla than a chimp because gorillas are like for the most part pretty chill. Like, they don't provoke things. They are provoked, right? They're not
right.
Like chimps are fire starters, man. They're going to do that as where a gorilla, he's just going to be like, you're not going to mess with me, right? You're not going to mess with me.
He knows that he's the big bad gorilla.
Yeah.
He's like, so if you come close, if I have
to. It's like 30 chimps is one gorilla, so no, yeah. And I mean, they just sit there with that blank stare on their faces, just waiting for you to step to them, which is why most, animals don't, So Garrett, you believe though, with the right strategy.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So think about this. I was thinking in general throughout history, men have been able to come up with ways to take down mammoths, saber-toothed tigers. There's been ways to do this. We're no stranger to this, right? We're the dominant
But
predator.
You couldn't make a spear.
But hold on. I think when you hear, or the cases I've heard for the people that think that, like I do, that the men could do it, I feel like their model is backwards. It's a lot of bros that like are cockstrung and think you've got to have these big dudes to go out there. No, that's not how this works. if you think about like the battles you've seen, Gladiator, 300, most of the people doing the damage in these movies are agile, small guys who are in great shape. And then you send in your 5 to 10 big dudes to finish it off, or they're more so there to scare people, right? It's a ploy to cause diversion is how I view it. Okay. So going in and thinking if you have a bunch of muscled up dudes is not the way to do this. I think that you need a few of them, obviously, but the way I was explaining this to Emery, this is probably a terrible way, but if you think about people that are going out and catching gators and stuff, you don't see somebody, unless they're just a dumbass, jump on a gator without like, wearing them down, getting them tired and things like that. So I think you have a few people who you got to have extreme agility. You need to have some speed on you and some awareness. And you need to set up something to where you get this gorilla going diagonally and trying to chase people down. I think with them being so strong up top, it is neglectful to try to think we're going to jump him, right? You need to wear it down from the bottom up. I think you get them going sideways. Maybe you have some people with like some rocks or something. You got to go for the Achilles. You wear the legs down, and then once he can't really move that fast, or you got him worn out, then that's when you make your bulk jump. But the notion of like we're just going to out muscle this dude ain't happening. But I think that if you put it in the right game plan, you wear him down, you use like some rocks or something to your advantage. Whether there's got to be something to this, plants, mud, like there's something you can do, but you wear them down. You don't worry about going in with your strength first. And if you have the right strategy, absolutely, you could take out a damn gorilla with 100 guys.
But
okay. So I know this is not real life, but one of the most terrifying villains in all of DC Comics is the Flash villain, Gorilla Grodd. Okay. Now he is telepathic. So that's different. I mean, that's different. I mean, he is a telepathic gorilla that was experimented on by mad scientists.
Rocksteady Bebop.
But the Flash, who can phase through walls, has a very difficult time with Gorilla Grodd. And like the Flash is like, he runs at the speed of light. You know, he's got the speed force. Mm-hmm. So I'm leaning towards Emery right here because these animals are smarter than we give them credit for.
Oh, hell yeah, they're smart.
They're smarter than we give them. Almost all animals are smarter than like. You know how smart a squirrel is? Have you ever watched a squirrel like work out a problem?
My sister used to have a pet squirrel.
I haven't.
So like, look at it. I'm gonna like, this is gonna be your life tonight. I promise you, because you're gonna fall down a YouTube hole. But just look up us like squirrel gets to bird feeder, and like you're trying to see how it can jump to it, and they'll work out what they have to do. My uncle just sent me a video of a guy who made like a squirrel maze where they have to go and run through and find it, and on it, it's got like a catapult on it. And so like if they make the wrong mistake and they step in this thing, they fall in this net and it catapults them to another net. And in the air, the squirrels already look to where they're going to land, right? So they know how they're going to land anytime. Listen, the next time you're taking a walk in your neighborhood and you see a squirrel running around, like jumping tree branch to tree branch, it's not random. He's planned it out. He's worked it out. And so even though they have very tiny brains and they only think about nuts and jumping and making other squirrels, like they have think about three things, but they're really good at those three things. Like they're really good at it. Gorillas are almost as intelligent as us. They've got opposable thumbs,
right?
You know, they are stronger than us, bigger than us. So I think like maybe he would get worn down, but you would have to have, I do agree with Garrett. If you're coming at this, I don't even need I need like 7 big guys.
Yeah.
The other 93 have to be like Bruce Lee, like super small, agile, fast, good core strength. Like that's who I'm bringing. Like I'll bring a couple of big brutes.
But if they get close, that gorilla is grabbing him and just twirling him around his head.
Like while he's
just
doing that,
knocking everyone else out.
Yeah.
And then he'll probably just rip off their arms.
Like Loki and the Hulk, right? And here's the thing. You also have to account for some, so you've got 100 guys. I'm going to say minimum 25 of them. The minute the first dude gets killed by the gorilla, go, F it. They're out. This is a bad idea. And then there's another 25 that he's just going to defeat, right? So now you're down to 50. Okay. So now you're down to 50 guys. So you better hope that he's worn himself out, like, ripping apart these other 25 dudes,
Right.
and beating them to a stump. And then you can go after him. But then by the time he's already like wiped out half of your thing by either fear or brute strength, then you're probably going to have some other fear stragglers that don't totally get out of the fight, but they're going to like drop back a little bit. They're going to be like, I'm going to wait until like, this is not my time. I've got kids, like kind of a thing. And then you have people going in. And this is to say, look, I'm very pro gorilla in this. The gorilla, the mankind has not been great to the gorillas.
No, they haven't.
Which is why anytime there's a Gorilla Grodd storyline in the Flash, I get it. Like, I get why he's mad.
Justice for Harambe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, and then like the gorilla, here's the deal. Like, these are majestic, unbelievable creatures, these silverback gorillas. And then the second best thing that can happen to them in their life is that they come and live in Denver. I don't like
they get thrown in a cool climate.
Yeah, like, okay.
Not Houston, Texas in the middle of January.
Yeah, and then like they sit in a thing and people go, "Oh my gosh." And look, I'm not anti-zoo or anything. As you guys know, you put me in a zoo or an aquarium, I'm good for the day. But I do think, there's part of it that's messed up. That I wouldn't want to be in a human zoo.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want the reverse of the Planet of the Apes thing, but
it's coming. Don't wait.
Yeah.
But then also I feel like by nature, gorillas are pretty cerebral.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so the whole wearing him out aspect, I just don't really necessarily get, because granted they are in zoos, but whenever you usually see gorillas, they're just plopped on their butt, just chilling out. So I think if you have him other people trying to run around, he's just going to be watching, being what the hell are they doing?
Yeah.
And so it'll only matter whenever people start to approach him.
Yeah.
And then whenever they approach him, you're just going to have to all just go after him in hopes of maybe someone can hit this or hurt this gorilla.
Yeah. No, I think if you take rocks and sticks out of the equation, you throw your one rock and you miss, that's it. You're done. So you really have to do this. And again, very pro gorilla in this argument. I not only just pro gorilla, I think you'd win. I want him to, because I don't know why you'd want to fight a gorilla at all. They've not done anything. Literally, you know what? Of all the animals in the world, gorillas have never done anything to us.
No.
Never want, you know what? Okay, a killer whale has come and knocked over our boats and hurt people. But I do kind of get we're in their territory.
Oh, I'm all for the killer whales doing that.
But yeah, the killer whale, some of the people are just out on a boat.
Exactly.
That's still not it. Now but you can't begrudge killer whales. But hey, some of these people out on a boat, shoot spears at me.
Yeah.
And I know this guy just has this little stick, but I don't know that that's not some sort of spear. I'm going to knock this boat over. There is some theory that some of them are actually playing. They think it's like a game. And then they don't realize what they're doing. Oh, hey, look at this thing. Let me go. Man, I think I can knock this boat over. That'd be fun. Oh, look at the guys. They're just bored. They're out there on the boat. When you see a killer whale,
they can swim.
But okay, dolphins have probably never done anything to us. We shouldn't do anything to dolphins. But lions, tigers have just eaten them random people out in the wilderness. Snakes, you can't trust those bastards. No. Birds will peck your eyes out.
Oh, you're terrified of birds. I forgot about that.
Yeah, you can't trust a bird, man. You can't trust a bird. So
well, they're all fake anyway.
So I think the gorilla deserves the smoke the least. And most of them, the silverbacks, live in the Congo, which is a terrible place to be anyway. So I don't know why I think
not to mention they gave us Donkey Kong. So
yeah, Donkey Kong.
There's that.
You start spinning. That gorilla starts spinning.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
this
wiping out
right
half
here?
of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Giant punch, the dojo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're
exactly.
Dead. They're dead.
No. I think that's a fair argument there. Sharks, man, that's those things. the scariest things in the world. Like, and look, I've been in the ocean and a shark's like swam by like 300 yards away. I'm like, nope, not today.
Not today. Nope.
Guess what? I'm gonna get hot. Gotta get hot. I'm gonna just stay hot. Let's go to the pool. You know, there's a pool right there. Yeah, I've been snorkeling and all that and seen like sharks that won't hurt you, like nurse sharks and hammerheads. Maybe not, but they can't really like. They don't see like the other sharks, so you can kind of get around them. But I mean, I remember being in the Keys one time and snorkeling, and like the guy was like, "Hey, the other boat just saw like a mako shark, so lemon shark or whatever it is. Like, we're just gonna get in right now and make sure that none of you get bitten by a shark." So, but I don't know. There's not a lot of shark attacks, but there's like enough to where it's like it's just scary enough. Like, I don't go like when I go in the ocean, I don't worry about a shark getting me, but I am aware.
Well, you throw yourself in Australia and you'll be hearing about them every single day, I feel like.
Yeah. So I mean, those Aussie sharks are like, "Good day, I'm gonna eat you." Get out of my water. No.
Oh no. I got it.
Yeah. I mean, that's so, yeah, no, I think, look, I'm going to say the gorilla outwits the 50 that are left. Because he's going to take down at least a quarter of them. Another quarter will leave, if not more. Like, at least 25 are going to leave. There might be 40 that leave. And then there's going to be some guys that you think are tough that you find out are like, "No, man, I like
the pure intimidation."
Yeah, I had too many bush lights when you suggested this to me, and I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. And then here's the other thing. Like, it says one gorilla, but you don't know if at some point he doesn't like bang on his chest and, like he gets a buddy that tags in, Oh,
yeah.
I don't know really how that works.
No one clarified if it's just one gorilla or one gorilla at a time.
Yeah.
No, it's just one.
It's just one gorilla.
It's
Okay.
just
Just
it starts getting
an isolated gorilla. But see, that's not really how gorillas work. Like, they're all there so you'd have to separate him from the family of gorillas.
Well, there's also like, if you're going to do
like,
that,
if you're like, "Hey, are you trying to kill my dad?" Like, that's bad.
Yeah, but I still think there's a way you can do it. I think you can, even if if you dug a hole somehow and you just get him to chase, like, there's ways to do this. Get him to fall in the hole or something. I still stay. I'm taking the men. I think you could do it. There's ways around it.
You have too much faith in the human.
I do. Look, dude, I'm one of the people that I can't stand humans for the most part, like 95% of them. But I just think there's a way you can do it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure there. Like, I don't know. Oh gosh, I don't know. I'm with him. I'm with Emery on this one. I think fear alone and dumbassery clear out more than half.
That's fair. I mean, that's a fair argument.
The intimidation aspect, just when you initially are like, "Holy shit, that's a big ass gorilla."
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be enough for me to shit my pants.
Oh, definitely.
You ever see like the war movies when they're like the old war movies, they're like all lined up and they're like going, you can see like the fear on people's faces, like, because they're about to run at each other,
to die.
and do that, and you're like the fear, like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing like," and then there's like the one guy who's like really brave, who's like, "Listen, if we die for freedom." That doesn't like, like, what am I going to say? Like,
there's no battle cry about a gorilla.
Exactly. What am I going to say? So like, who's the William Wallace? Like, if they take our lives, they'll never take our freedom for Scotland. Like, you're not going to have that. Like, "Hey, if we die, it's really dumb." So sorry. But if we win, then we'll have owned the libs. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't think like, yeah. And here's the thing. The fact that he suggested this does highlight one thing. All of us have at least one friend that would be like, "I don't need 100.
Yeah, I can do
Like, listen, me,
5,
Rico,
bro.
Big Tony, my boy Ray J, like all those guys, like, you don't mess, like the guys from the old neighborhood, you don't mess with them, man. You don't like, I watched little Skeeve one time, just like, boom, like punch a guy who's like 280 pounds, just like right in the neck, and dropped him in one punch, and you're like, okay, yeah, I don't know who little Skeeve is, but I don't, yeah, he's crazy. He's like 5'7", like 165 of just like, he's just shredded, man. He's just shredded. The guy doesn't do anything but eat lettuce and do sit-ups. Sell weed. That's all he does. You know, like, oh, he could, like, he'd be so fat the gorilla wouldn't even know what to do. And he's smart too, man. Little Skeev's smart. He didn't finish high school, but he's like smart and like a
The
different
smartest
way.
guy I've ever
He's
met.
street smart. He's like, he knows all the street names. So, yeah. All right. Well, I'm siding with Emery. Garrett, I'm sorry. I think the gorilla wins.
Suck it, Garrett.
Yeah.
You suck.
Yeah.
I hope the gorilla. I mean, I'm team gorilla in this, but I just think the men can take it.
Yeah. I do. This has been a very productive discussion.